Good morning and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to video number 2 on our unit on accounting and accounting management. Again, if you haven't had a chance to go back and start this series from the beginning, you're only one video in, so I highly recommend going back to take care of the other video to set the foundation. Because what this section is going to focus on is the actual careers and possible jobs available for accountants. Now, this isn't an extensive view of what's available because there's a lot of other jobs that are available, but this is kind of like, again, a broad overview. Again, I encourage you to go back and look at these words and these terms if you find something that you're interested in, like bookkeeping or investments and what have you. So let's get this party started. All right, so for the accountants, right, you might be overseeing in a business, or you might be working in the accounting department. You might be an accountant, or you might be a CPA, which stands for Certified Public Accountant. All right. So what these people do is they assist in gathering financial information for making financial decisions. Okay. Financial being money decisions. Okay. They help record transactions. What has happened? What happened through that day? Right. Now, does that mean that Sally, you're recording a transaction like Sally came and bought milk, Joe bought milk, Stephen bought some bread? No, because you're just doing the individual itemized transactions, and the registers can backlog that information, okay? Maybe you're classifying property. We talked about that in the last unit, right? Or classifying transactions. Not every transaction occurs at the register as a purchase. There's other transactions as well, right? Maybe if you had a service done, you're classifying that service work, maintenance, so on and so forth, right? You're summarizing financial information, and you're analyzing and communicating, right? This includes bookkeeping, right? Maybe helping and coaching those for financial records or keeping their financial records in order. Maybe you're analyzing and interpreting accounting information. Maybe you're helping somebody pay for their taxes and figure out how much taxes do they owe or how much taxes are owed back to them, all right? Each place is different, and that's kind of like an overview, all right? Do you need to have a college education for some of these positions? Not all. But some of them, yes. It depends on your overall role. You might also have in there, that's something that's not mentioned, is payroll and the payroll clerk, right? Payroll and timekeeping clerk, so on and so forth, okay? Somebody who is keeping an eye on employees when they're coming in and out and making sure that they are paid the proper amounts, okay? Kind of like what human resources helps do. You might be helping human resources in some cases. Again, each business is different, okay? So, that's your accounting department, your accountants, and your certified public accountants. All right, if you're in the banking business, now this doesn't mean just working at banks, but if you're in the business of banking, right, you are concerned with the management of people's cash and the management of your cash, right? People still use cash. Even if it's digital, it's still cash, right? So you're helping people with cash management. Maybe you're helping with short-term investments like savings accounts, or maybe CDs, like certificates of deposits. If you don't know what those are and what the difference is, we'll study more about that in personal banking and finance in my 8th grade course. If you have, maybe you're helping people with mortgages and other temporary loans, personal loans, car loans, so on and so forth. Maybe you're helping somebody get their first credit card or helping people pay their bills. Banks offer bill paying services for certain individuals, right? Now, in banking, they also accept deposits, right? They help people with their transactions. In other words, if I write a check to somebody, they could take it to my bank and then get the money, or they could take it to their bank and then on my bank's behalf, give them the money and then make that transaction happen, right? Maybe you're helping with lending or credit, right? Credit is using what's available to you based off of your history. Again, we'll look at that and the difference between a credit card and what that means compared to a credit and a debit. We'll look at that in my 8th grade course. And then maybe you're brokering some houses because of various reasons, right? And property, all right? So banking, again, Banking is concerned with those items. Do you have to be a banker to work in the banking business? You sure don't, all right? You don't need much. You could do a high school diploma and work as a teller or in customer service, and you'll see that here shortly, all right? So basically, bankers are working with people to help manage their money. They are trusted individuals, right? So you got to make sure that you do the right things, all right? When it comes to business finance, all right? Business finance, remember we were talking about earlier that accounting is concerned with the money that's happened up to that point and in the past, and that finance is concerned with using the money today for a better tomorrow, right? And that each business might be under finance might be under accounting, or accounting might be under finance. It depends on the structure. If you're working in business finance, here's what you'll be working with, all right? You are managing and implementing policies or strategies for an organization's capital structure, budgeting, and acquisitions and investments, okay? Here's what that means in English, okay? So, capital structure is basically what is available to the business to use to help that business grow. Okay, the capital. What kind of capital is available? Now, it doesn't have to be cash. It can be anything, all right? What is available to help that business grow? What are the resources, all right? Maybe it includes budgeting, okay? Maybe it includes, hey, you know, we're a construction business. We're a big growing construction business. And this gentleman over here is wanting to sell his construction business. Would it be worth investing in that construction business, right? And maybe purchasing what he has available to him and adding it to our assets, right? Or if you're in the restaurant business and you want to start branching out your restaurant, right? And instead of building a new facility, maybe you can find a restaurant that already exists and maybe incorporate what they have going on with what you have going on. So acquisitions and investments, okay? Acquiring things to help the business grow. That might be investing in other companies. I said that in the last video. Businesses don't just rely on their work. Sometimes they start making investments to help that business grow, right? Business finance also oversees and makes decisions in regards to financial modeling, financial planning, okay? In other words, thinking about the future. Maybe they're thinking about funding. How are we going to make something happen? All right. They're also concerned with dividends. Dividends are something that's really, really cool. Dividends are what is paid to stockholders in the event that the business does really good on top of the stocks they've already earned. Okay. If you're in a position to pay dividends as a business, that means you did a really, really good job that year or over a set period of time. Okay, and that you're able to reward individuals who have invested in the business. Now, you might also reward your employees, but that might come from a separate source. Okay, dividends usually come from ownership of the business itself, and of course, you've got taxes. Taxes need to be paid, so you might be helping oversee how you're going to pay those taxes, so on and so forth. And you got to start figuring out too, you know, which classification does certain investments get taxed at? Do investments get taxed at a different rate than other things? They sure do. Okay, so it's up to the accountants and business finance to figure that out. All right. Now, when it comes to insurance, if you're working in the insurance business, all right, you're helping people, or you're helping deliver services that transfer risk. Okay, so example, I think I talked about this in my human resource unit, okay, where if Mr. C is out driving his vehicle, is that a risk? Well, yeah, because at any moment something can happen, right? So in the event that Mr. C decides to go out driving and he's in the middle of a storm and a tornado crosses his path and that causes a tree to fall in front of him and he can't stop the truck in time and wrecks his truck, right? That responsibility has shifted from Mr. C personally to his insurance company. Why? Because I paid them as a service to transfer the risk from myself to them, right? So that I'm delivering the service that transfer risk, right? From an individual or a business to an insurance company, right? Now, the cool thing is it protects individuals and businesses from financial loss, right? I'll give you a good example of this. When I had a family member who ran a car dealership that I helped start, right? About 2 months into running the dealership, somebody came in overnight. We didn't have security cameras at the time, and took the big wheels off of several luxury SUVs, right? That was expensive to replace those wheels, all right? And so we ended up making an insurance claim because it was more expensive to pay for those wheels ourselves than for the insurance to help us with those costs. So we went ahead and claimed that on our insurance policy. Why? Because that's what we pay for, right? So they help the business from financial loss. And the cool thing is that, here's the thing, okay? Let's say a big hurricane comes through and wipes out an area. Do you think that insurance companies just have all this money lying around in their bank accounts waiting to be paying people? No. Okay, there are things that are happening in the background that help with that, all right? So insurance companies have already invested money in the background to help that money grow, all right? Because you never know when that multi-billion-dollar disaster is going to come, and you don't want to just completely wipe out all of your accounts, okay? So that money has been invested and allowed to grow so that it takes up less of a strike on the insurance company itself. So behind the scenes, they invest large sums of money to help maximize returns in the future, okay? Kind of neat there, right? Unique about the world of insurance. All right, now, securities and investments. This is where a lot of the financial guys want to end up at, securities and investments, all right? Securities and investments basically support the flow of funds from people who invest to companies and institutions, okay? So, think of the stock market. We talked about that a few weeks ago in class, okay? The stock market, the idea is that you buy low, sell high, right? Or you making investments into businesses, right? Two different things there, okay? So, yeah, investments into businesses, right? So, maybe in securities and investments, you've acquired ownership in a company, and they're growing, and they're doing good. Or maybe if you're working in securities and investments, you're working with people to encourage them to invest somewhere, and maybe that if you manage their investment, okay, you'll reap a little bit of the reward as a commission. So you'll be working in financial planning, asset management, hedge fund management, and custody services, all right? And let me put this in perspective for you, okay? I want you to think of Batman, all right? Now, as you guys know, Batman is not really Batman. He's Bruce Wayne. Now, Bruce Wayne, when he was younger, okay, we all know the story about DC Comics. Somebody come in and shot his parents, right? And he was left all alone under the custody of Mr. Alfred. And the business, through Thomas Wayne's will, managed Bruce Wayne's money, right? And from that money, Bruce Wayne was able to become Batman, right? So, anywho, that was a representation of customer services, all right? And, of course, hedge funds and all that kind of good stuff, right? So security and investments helps manage that money, all right? And so that, Bruce himself could eventually oversee that money, right? I hope that makes sense. All righty. So I think that was, yes, okay, so career pathway. So if you want to work in the field of accounting, you can see right here, right? High school level diploma. You can work as a billing and posting clerk. If you have mild certification or maybe some training, bookkeeping, accounting, auditing clerk, payroll, and timekeeping clerks, right? You have with a bachelor's degree, accounting and auditors, accountants and auditors, or you can work in the accountant field or the accounting career area of that business. And then, of course, financial managers with 4-year degree. Now, again, this is a overall rule of thumb, but it's not always the absolute, okay? Not always the absolute, because you can get financial managers who might only have bachelor's degree. Depends on their experience, all right? Each place is different, all right? When it comes to business finance, yeah, if you're wanting to work in business finance, you're going to need to go to college, all right? Because as a purchasing agent, kind of like the purchaser who worked at in operations, okay, in purchasing, you're going to need that advanced degree or that 2-year degree. For a budget analyst, cost estimator, financial analyst, the other careers. Now, don't think of cost estimator as just somebody who says, well, I need to get 40 feet of pipe and I estimate the cost to be this. That's not the cost estimator we're talking about. Cost estimators in this case look at the current value of something, the future value of something, right? And they say, okay, based off what we know the current trends are, I need to sell this pipe for this much, all right, to put towards something, all right? Bachelor's degree for that. Financial managers and purchasing managers. And, of course, if you're wanting to get into securities and investments, you can work as a brokerage clerk, tax preparer, right? You can work in, and that's just with some certification. 2-year degree, you got brokers, fund managers, fund, not fun, all right? F-U-N-D, right? Compliance managers. And notice here for securities and investments, an advanced degree is not really required. It could be helpful, okay, especially if you're going to go into risk management and what have you. But usually, securities and investments are going to basically be kind of like sales jobs and making smart decisions on behalf of somebody, working with folks like Edward Jones, Raymond James, Merrill Lynch, those kinds of guys. All right? All right, so that brings me to the end of this. Here we got a couple of questions, fill in the blanks, some true or false, so on and so forth. Pretty self-explanatory. I think you can go through and get this figured out on your own, okay? And so I don't need to walk you through this. So that brings me to the end of our unit on accounting, and I hope you're able to take something from this, and maybe this sounds like something you'd want to consider for a future career.